Hello and welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. My name is Michael, but you can call me MOLT. And today we're going to be going over the best deck that I have made. We're going to look at some statistics, break it down, show you some games so that hopefully you can start playing it and start climbing the ladder. So we're currently over on untap.gg. I talk about this website a lot because it has so much incredible information for you guys, especially in the paid versions, but there is a free version as well that still gives you a lot of stuff you can look through. And what I want to show you all today is some of the best decks currently in the game, and their win rates and all that kind of stuff. So if we look at some of the highest decks in the game right now, with Sarah Control having 5,400 games, all this kind of stuff, the win rate of that deck is 52.4%. Then we go to 52.9. Thanos Lockjaw has a win rate of 56.9, but also has a lower cube gain. So that's probably because people are retreating when Leech comes out or things like that. 53% here for Doomwave, 55 for Darkhawk, and 53 for Discard. And as we scroll down more, you can typically see that the average win rate of most decks is around the low 50s. Now, if we head over to the deck that is the best deck that I've ever made and the deck that I have the most fun playing, no surprise to you guys, it is my stop and move deck. We have a 56.6% win rate, and that is based off almost 300 games, which is actually a really good amount of games to base these stats off of. It has been as high as 58% if I'm like doing really good and RNG's in my favor and all that kind of stuff. But it is an incredibly good deck, and today we're going to go ahead and break it down for you. So the deck is made up of Iron Fist, Angela, Dagger, Kraven, Cloak, Cosmo, Doctor Strange, Juggernaut, Vulture, Polaris, Shang-Chi, and Heimdall. Move can be an intimidating deck archetype for people to jump into, but I really want to encourage you guys to just dive in, especially if you make it to Infinite and you want to start playing, or if it's at the beginning of the season and you have time. Dive into Move and learn it, because it will teach you so much about interactions between cards in the game, that if you can learn Move and the way that you can have cards interact and work together, it will help you with your deck building in other archetypes, and it will also help you understand your opponent and things that they might be doing as you learn a lot of the combinations that come within this deck. Now, the first card in the deck is obviously going to be Iron Fist, a 1/2 that will move the next card that is played. Very straightforward card. It has some really good interactions, obviously with Dagger and Vulture in the deck, but you can use it in lots of other ways too, to where if you're trying to gain access to a location that you can't play cards on, or cards will be destroyed there, whatever, you can just play Iron Fist and send whatever the heck you want to over to that location. So Iron Fist is definitely one of the staples of this deck, because it helps with a lot of the combinations, and really helps you get a certain number of cards big, whether that's Dagger or Vulture. Now, the second card in here is Angela, and this is one that people always kind of scratch their head at. They're like, why the heck is Angela in this deck? That doesn't make any sense. Well, if you think about it, Angela, when a card is played on top of her location, gains 2 power. But once you play 3 cards on that location, you can no longer buff Angela anymore. But when you're playing a move deck, you can actually buff Angela a whole lot more. So a couple of different combinations would be playing Angela and then be playing Iron Fist and Dagger, playing Dagger on top of Angela, getting that +2, and then moving that card to another location. You can also play, let's say if you have Cloak in hand, you can play Dagger and Kraven and something else on top of Angela, and then you play Cloak, and you can move all 3 of those cards over to that other location, now freeing Angela up to have more cards played on top of her, giving that 2-cost card a significant amount of power that can help you end up winning at the end of the game. Also, a really cool thing about Angela is if you play a card like Heimdall on the location to the left of Angela, Angela will move over and then will actually get a buff from Heimdall, even though it wasn't specifically played on Angela's location. But when Angela moves, then it is now on a location where Heimdall was played, giving it that buff. Next, we've got Dagger. I would say Dagger is in my top 3 favorite cards with some of the highest power potential in the game, and it is only a 2-cost card. There are often times where I will throw the Iron Fist Dagger combo into Sarah decks and things like that, because genuinely you can play 3 energy on your final turn, playing that Iron Fist and then playing that Dagger, And then Dagger will gain +2 for every card at the location that it goes to. And then you still have 3 energy left to where really you could end up playing Doctor Strange. Final turn, you could play Iron Fist, Dagger, Doctor Strange, and depending on if your opponent is playing something like Hit Monkey, you can get that Dagger up over 20 power in 1 turn for 2. Dagger is incredibly strong, is a very versatile card that gives you a lot of power for very, very little risk. It's amazing. Dagger, absolutely incredible, absolutely important to the success of this deck. Next, we've got Kraven, super cool card here because it works offensively and defensively in the fact that if there are locations that move, you can throw Dagger down or you can throw Kraven down and you can get buffs from other people. You can obviously move your own cards there, whether that is by using Cloak or Polaris or Vulture, any of those things, or Vulture or Dagger, and then you can use cards like Juggernaut or Polaris, or even the new Stegron. You could throw that in here, and you can move cards potentially buffing that Kraven. So not only is Kraven an offensive card, but it's also a defensive card to where if your opponent has the ability to move something, whether they have Nightcrawler or Vision or even Captain Marvel, something along those lines, that Kraven is a defensive barrier to where it's like, well, if I move there, I'm going to be in trouble. You can even see that with Thanos decks and those cards. So Kraven, super, super clutch here. You can get Kraven really, really big as you start moving things around the board. Cloak is incredibly powerful just in its own right. If you play Cloak final turn, it's a 2/4, which is a really good stat line for the cost of 2, but obviously that isn't the ideal situation for Cloak. Ideally, what you would like to be able to do, like I said earlier, you play Angela, you play a couple cards on top of Angela, and then you play Cloak, moving those cards from Angela over to that cloaked location. And a lot of times, if you have priority and you have Kraven in your hand, you throw Kraven down after Cloak is down. So you play Kraven on the turn after playing Cloak. Your opponent doesn't see the Kraven, and a lot of times they will move things there. Your Kraven will appear, and then the cards that they moved over there will end up getting buffed for you, which is pretty cool. So Cloak, incredibly good in this, especially if you play Cloak on turn 5, as well as maybe even Doctor Strange on turn 5, to where you could go Iron Fist Vulture turn 4, and then turn 5, you could go Doctor Strange Cloak, moving that Vulture, and then having your Cloak on the board as well. And then final turn, you move that Vulture again, and then you play Heimdall. Therefore, you have moved Vulture 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which is incredible. So Cloak opens up lots of different avenues for success. Cosmo is pretty straightforward in this deck. Everybody knows what Cosmo is for. 3/3, block whatever your opponent wants to do that is on reveal on the other side. So that means you can block any sort of Wong location. You can block Galactus. You can block things like Doctor Doom. Especially in a deck like this, if your opponent has Galactus, you will lose. Yeah, we do have Shang-Chi in this deck that can help us later on, but Cosmo is in here solely to block. A lot of times people will ask, does Cosmo not screw you up because you're playing so many on-reveal cards? I don't play Cosmo unless I'm trying to block a very specific play. We could do final turn, Cosmo, and then Doctor Strange on another location, whatever, if we feel like somebody's going to play Doctor Doom or something along those lines. We've got Doctor Strange in here, probably one of my favorite cards in this as well, just because it's really, really fun. The fact that you can play 3 energy final turn is incredible with the power potential that you have, whether pulling Dagger or whether pulling Vulture. And then another thing that you can do as well, along with Doctor Strange, one of the best final turn combos is Doctor Strange and Juggernaut. Most people, when they look at move decks, think, oh, Heimdall. Oh, my big power play is Heimdall. No, most of the time your big power play is not Heimdall. Most of the time your final turn is something along the lines of Juggernaut Doctor Strange, or as I said earlier, Iron Fist Dagger Doctor Strange, things along those lines. Yes, you can play Heimdall if the situation arises, but you shouldn't always be thinking, okay, turn 6, Heimdall. In fact, probably 75% of the time, you're not going to play Heimdall because it is predictable and it is counterable, and so you want to play other things. Next, we've got Juggernaut. This is probably in my top 3 cards in the game as well. Incredibly powerful, especially if you are going up against more like mid-range decks that aren't going to just fill the board. You do have to be careful with things like Dr. Doom, because obviously if you play Juggernaut, it's going to end up causing some issues with you or for you. But the things that Juggernaut can do from a counter standpoint are incredible. You can completely own those final turn Wong Hazmat plays. You can crush anybody trying to play Odin on top of Dr. Doom. You can play Juggernaut to stop Galactus from going off. So many different interactions are possible with Juggernaut. In fact, I would say typically you only want to play Juggernaut on the last turn or the last turn that you can play at a certain location. Whether that's a location that is stormed, whether that's a location that you can't play past turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, whatever it may be, Juggernaut is incredibly valuable there in protecting that location for you. Vulture is pretty straightforward here as well, gaining 5 power every time that it is moved. It can be incredibly big, and oftentimes it is going to be the card that you Doctor Strange on that final turn to get it very, very big. You can play Iron Fist on turn 2 and Vulture on turn 3, or if you want to save it for a 1-turn combo, then you could just save Iron Fist Vulture for turn 4, and then turn 5, go into that Cloak Doctor Strange, moving Vulture with Doctor Strange, and then having Cloak down so that you can move Vulture to Cloak afterwards, gaining 5, 10, 15, 18 total power. It can be an incredible powerhouse for you. We got Polaris here as well, which is a great counter to lots of different things. You can Polaris onto Fisk Tower. So if somebody has some cards down and you want to destroy them on Fisk Tower, you can end up doing that. You can counter things like Galactus with this, especially if they're playing Yondu or if they're playing Wolverine. You can Polaris that Wolverine, moving it and making them no longer be able to Galactus on the turn that they want, as long as you have priority, of course. Polaris can mess up people's Angelas. Polaris can mess up people's Wongs. So many different opportunities for Polaris, and 3-5 is a really solid stat line. You can also play Polaris on your Kraven, obviously giving you that extra power from that Kraven buff too. We've got Shang-Chi in this deck. Very, very straightforward. We all know what Shang-Chi does. It destroys things that have 9 or more power. And then lastly, we've got Heimdall. Heimdall you can do some mind games with, because most people are expecting Heimdall. So having Heimdall in your hand means that you could play it and just get 8 power somewhere. You could play Heimdall on top of Cosmo. Nobody's gonna friggin' expect you to do that. Play Heimdall on top of Cosmo. You can play Heimdall on the far left and have only one thing move. You can play Heimdall on a location left of Angela, like I said, giving it that extra 2 power and buffing it. Or you can just not play Heimdall at all, and you can play those other combos that I mentioned. Move is incredible, and come June, it is going to get a lot more cards. So I would encourage you guys to start learning Move now, because the more that you learn playing it, the more you will be able to predict and beat your opponents. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be real sad when Move becomes super popular, because it's my baby. And Move has been my baby for a long time. I have reached infinite with it many, many times. It is hands down, in my opinion, the biggest brain deck in the game. And when I say that, I'm not talking about just playing Heimdall final turn. I'm talking about all the math that you have to do, all the combinations that you can do. You have to be thinking 2, 3, 4 turns ahead in the number of things that you're going to be moving. And yeah, I know, sure, I'm just using Shuri Red Skull. People don't really play it. People don't really play it anymore. But yeah, they're thinking ahead. They're thinking, oh, turn 4, Shuri. Oh, turn 5, Red Skull. Oh, turn 6, Taskmaster. Like that type of stuff. That's not what I mean by thinking ahead. I mean thinking ahead in regards to playing, okay, Iron Fist Vulture. Okay, I'm going to play Doctor Strange, and then I'm going to need to play Cloak, and then I'm going to have to play Heimdall somewhere, and then I'm like, all the different things that you have to do. It takes a lot of thought, and it's very, very rewarding. So let's get into some live games now that you guys know how good Move actually is. All right, we can go here. I'm going to snap right off the rip here just for Stranger Co. Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. That is exactly what we're looking for. I'm not going to play anything. That's friggin' brutal, dude. I mean, I'm just going to Shang-Chi that real quick. You know what I'm saying? Dang, dude. I mean, do I want to play this right here? Of course. That's hilarious. All right. I mean, sick. Like, actually, that's really good for us. Because we can do this and this. And I mean, why not this? No. I need to, well, I can play Zabu and pull, or I can play Polaris in the middle is what I was thinking. I just don't know what they might have over here, you know? Well, actually, let's leave. Frig. No, I need to put this here. 2, 3, 4. No way, they go for it. Okay. Sick. Okay, I mean, that was a really good play. But I think we still win. Let's go. That was good stuff right there. That Cosmo was clutch. That Cosmo was clutch for us. Sick. We'll go. We're actually going to be in a pretty good spot here. Okay, that's literally the exact card that I wanted to play next turn, but thank you. Whoa, all right, they're full. So we're okay with that. I'm going to go here. Bro, I'm gonna snap against this guy. Like, I'm just gonna pull dagger over here, win this location. Oh man. All right. We got Cloak and Craven, so now we just want to draw into hopefully Iron Fist, Vulture, Dagger. Okay. Wouldn't mind Angela either here. Okay. 1, 2. All right. Crap. I'm guessing this is going to be Electro. Nope, it's Wave. All right, so they're not going to play here. So we'll play right here. I should have snapped right before. So obvious, dude. If I had snapped right before, they probably would have retreated. So I'm just happy I was able to take their 2 cubes and send them home. I don't know. I imagine they're playing Destroy. I don't... Sick. I'm trying to actually think, so I think I might want to do it right here and then move Dagger over here. Yeah, I think they might send this out. No, okay. We can go ahead and do this, which would be good for us. Get some power over here. Do you play a card here set its base power to 2? So there's potential for us to play Cloak over here and then be able to move Dagger over. And hopefully cause some issues for him. All right, I mean, that's pretty solid. I might actually play Cloak here, if I'm honest. 1. 2. Wow, okay. That's actually pretty good for them over here. Whoa, dropping the Hit Monkey off early. I wonder if they are... I'm a little bit curious about what they might be doing here. Okay, so if I'm honest, I need to figure out how I win this. And you know what? It might just be from doing all of this. Then we play Heimdall on the left. I wonder if they move anything to the middle. I wonder if they move anything to the middle. If they... Okay. Whoa, that seems extremely late. All right, so this right here is going to go up to 7. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. They can't beat that. Say, only way they win is if this is Cosmo. Nope. Alright, so we should win here then. We should win here. Heck yeah, dude. Let's go. All right, nothing to do yet. I mean, interesting. Not really what I want. But okay. Dang. Amarillo. I'll go here. As long as they play one thing in the middle, we'll add some pretty good power there. Man, and if they play a couple things in the middle, that wouldn't be a bad Taskmaster right there, you know what I'm saying? At any point you want to play, you can. Oh, I think they were waiting to maybe send that over. I'm not sure, but now we have 2 cards over there, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's not the biggest deal. Yo. I'm just being honest. Do I want to... I feel like I might want to play Polaris over here. Is that what I actually want to do? I really don't know. Sure. It's gonna buff that for him. All right, so here's the deal. If we play Heimdall in the middle, then we're at 10, 18, 19, 20. And whatever they end up playing on the left is going to go to town. They might have a Shang-Chi. Who knows? Let's just get it. Polaris is going to stay here. Heimdall is going to activate Angela when it pops over. And then Dagger is going to add some really good power over here, depending on what they have, as well as buffing Kraven once. So Kraven will be a 6. Dagger will be big. If they play Shang-Chi over here, we lose. Who knows? Who even knows anymore? There's really no way of knowing. All right, so definitely don't think they played Shang-Chi. Dagger gets pretty big there. Obviously, if they play... Oh, I forgot that activates for all of them. Yeah, they play monkey over here. They win. Monkey. Killmonger. Bro. What the freak? What are you talking about?